What is up, ladies and gents? It's Sunday, October 3rd, 2010, and tonight was WWE's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Now, before we get started, thank you to all my subscribers. If you guys haven't done so already and happen to stumble upon this video by any chance, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right up top there. Also, go in the description bar below and follow me on Twitter and subscribe to my other channel. Thank you. So now we are just 14 days removed from WWE's last pay-per-view, which is kind of shocking, thinking that WWE would expect people to pay for two pay-per-views. So I'm kind of expecting the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view buy rates to be kind of low. And the other negative side of that is that a lot of the build-up for some of these rivalries and feuds were kind of lackluster, considering we're only 2 weeks removed from Night of Champions. With that being said, all things considered, taking that into account, I think that WWE did deliver with Hell in a Cell in a way. I enjoyed the show, and I have a feeling that I'm going to be in the minority, because while I do think that the two Hell in a Cell matches did underwhelm a lot, especially when you look at how Hell in a Cell matches used to be built up in the past, where it was months upon months of build up and rivalries where you thought the only way that it could be settled was through a Hell in a Cell matchup. Now with WWE's themed pay-per-views, you get a feeling that, you know, these matches really don't matter as much as they used to matter. But I gotta say, surprisingly, the matches that I wasn't looking forward to turned out to be really, really good. You know, I really wasn't looking forward to Cena and Wade Barrett. I really wasn't, to be honest. That match was good. The match that wasn't even on the card, Edge versus Jack Swagger, I thought was pretty good. So, you know, a lot of these matches that I wasn't expecting anything from actually surprised me. Alright, so the first match of the night was a three-way submission matchup for the United States Championship. It was The Miz, John Morrison, and Daniel Bryan, the champion. Now, I gotta admit, I didn't see the match. I didn't see most of the match. Now, I started watching it, kind of fell asleep because, you know, I had a long day at work. But I did see a good portion of the matchup, and I saw a lot of cool submissions. And I am happy to see that Daniel Bryan did retain the United States Championship. I'm really happy to see that. I think Daniel Bryan deserves it and should hold on to it for a good long while, as long as he defends it. And so I'm not going to judge this match based on actual wrestling, since I don't want to judge something I didn't see the whole thing for. Alright, the next match was Randy Orton versus Sheamus for the WWE Championship in a Hell in a Cell. This match was really long. It got a lot of time. It started off really boring. Really boring. I really was like, why did I wake up for this? It picked up towards the middle and the end. They used a lot of the still steps, and they used the cage, you know, occasionally. But again, you know, this is definitely not the Hell in a Cell we're used to, so we gotta kind of, you know, take that into account. But again, I think this matchup definitely got better as it moved on, but that's not to say it was a really good matchup. Then we have Alberto Del Rio coming out. He does his usual, you know, my name is Alberto Del Rio, but you already knew that, and starts talking about his wealth and how he's better than everybody. Then we have Edge coming out saying what he said on SmackDown, that he's going to rid WWE of stupidity, which is going to take a very long time. And they go back and forth, and then out comes Jack Swagger, who is still upset because, you know, Edge ruined his homecoming on Friday night. And so all three of them get into it. The Raw GM chimes in for some reason and makes the match Jack Swagger versus Edge, which I did enjoy a lot. Actually, I thought this match, as far as Jack Swagger goes, reminded me a lot of when he was a champion, how he had a lot of long matches that showcased his wrestling skills. Now, the crowd wasn't really into it, which kind of took away from it, but it was understandable considering that they really had no reason to be into it. You know, there was no build-up for this matchup, and it's an impromptu matchup. Nonetheless, I thought, as far as wrestling goes, I thought it was a really good match to throw on there. Then we had John Cena versus Wade Barrett, which I thought was the match of the night. There were a lot of near falls, a lot of kick out. I was really wondering what was going to happen. Not that I really cared or anything, but you know, it was interesting, the match. You know, John Cena did a lot more moves than he usually does, and Wade Barrett looked pretty impressive. Now the stipulation was that if John Cena loses, that he must join Nexus. If Nexus loses, or if Wade Barrett loses, then Nexus must disband. And so, but also Nexus was not allowed to interfere in the matchup to help Wade Barrett. So they were around the ring, basically providing a distraction for Wade Barrett, distracting John Cena. Out comes the Raw and SmackDown locker room empty. They get Nexus out of there, and the match is going well. Looks like John Cena's going to win with the STF. Out of the crowd comes some random person, distracting the referee. So the referee's distracted, and out comes another random person, knocks John Cena out. And basically Wade Barrett ends up picking up the win. The crowd is all kinds of shocked. You know, I mean, I picked them on Twitter. I picked Wade Barrett on Twitter to win, but I was still kind of shocked that he won. But when you looked at the crowd, they were kind of, some of the faces were kind of ridiculous. Stuff like, it was all kind of silly. But nonetheless, John Cena loses and he must join Nexus. We'll see if that actually happens tomorrow night on Raw. I do think that WWE needs to let this happen. Turn John Cena face. It doesn't have to happen overnight, but I do think that John Cena needs to turn face or heel because of the fact that WWE and Monday Night Raw is really getting their butts kicked by Monday Night Football, but also because it's losing a lot of the unpredictability and a lot of the spark. I saw the video that Spinnernet put up where he basically said, he's losing all passion for it or motivation to watch it because there's nothing interesting to watch about it, and that's absolutely correct. And so I do think WWE needs to start, doing some things that are really going to have people talking. This could be just what the doctor prescribed. And then we have the Divas title match, the champion Michelle McCool versus Natalya Neidhart. For Divas, I thought that Michelle McCool and Natalya put on a pretty good technical matchup before, it ended in disqualification by Layla throwing her shoe in the ring. I thought that it was a really nice, there was a lot of floor grappling, and there was a lot of, especially when Michelle McCool reversed the sharpshooter. I thought as far as the two divas go, these two put on a pretty good match, probably a better match than any other two divas could have put on. And then we have the main event, Undertaker versus Kane, the main event. This match really kind of killed the show for me. It was a lot faster than the Night of Champions match, but again, with the restrictions that WWE puts in, it just didn't work. But I gotta say that's not a good enough excuse. I remember Edge versus Undertaker. That was a really good Hell in a Cell matchup. They used tables, they used all sorts of things, and I thought that match was really good. So I think WWE just didn't put enough effort into it. The big story coming out of that match is that Paul Bearer apparently has betrayed Undertaker and has sided with Kane, which most people saw coming. I think it happened a little too soon, but nonetheless, we'll see where it goes from here. And again, this match really was not that good. I was expecting a lot more. Undertaker is the king of sorts of Hell in a Cell, and I just didn't think that it showed through in this matchup. So all in all, Hell in a Cell, I believe, was actually pretty good, considering the fact that we're just 2 weeks from the last pay-per-view, and the fact that there wasn't much build-up in a lot of the rivalries. I thought the matches were actually a lot better than I thought they would be. But of course, me being tired, it could have been different. Tell me what you thought below. I enjoyed the show, but if you thought something different, tell me below, because I'd love to hear differing opinions. I don't think anybody's wrong, I would never go and say you're wrong, because it's your opinion. You're allowed to have it, so tell me down there what you thought about the show. Don't forget the thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you whenever. I'm not sure when I'm going to make another video, but I'll see you then. Peace out.